Welcome to those 90s Teachers podcast with Tasia and Zara, where we are currently taking up space in the education arena in different parts of the world.
Throughout this journey, you will learn about being a teacher in today's society as we share personal stories and life experiences in the classroom.
This episode last week, we spoke about how tons of teachers are retiring and the necessity for there to be administration that have gone through the experiences that teachers go through so that they would be the best candidates to lead them into their different trials and tribulation that comes with the profession. We are so excited for you guys to hear this week in part 2. Stay tuned to hear what we have to say to continue on our conversation. Thank you guys. We appreciate the support so much.
Puts their biases aside and just knows how to lead and is leading and knows how to communicate. I think that's key. You have to have a administration team that knows how to communicate, like actually, like actively, and knows how to communicate positively with all.
Yeah, I was talking to my sister about that same thing the other day. I'm like, the issue with a lot of people nowadays is that we don't know how to communicate with one another
Yeah,
in an appropriate and a professional way.
yeah,
And that, I even said it to myself, I need to work on my communication skills also, because I
yeah,
recognize that it's such a huge skill and it's needed. Like,
100%.
it's needed. Going back to you saying that, with the more experienced part, I think about it like this. We all go through a process, and in order to go through that, when we go through that process, we grow, we learn, and we become new people. The fact that there are people that haven't been teachers for more than maybe 1 or 2 years that are leaders, they never had to go through a process. So
Mhm.
because they never had to go through that process, there are things that they don't know. And
Mhm.
so many times, like, our process can be a struggle. It can be a challenge. But if you don't allow yourself to go through that process, there will
Mhm.
be no way you can actually acclimate, or it'll be much harder. You have to like go through, get in it and then struggle instead of going through the process and being like, okay, I learned this, and that from what I just went through, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And again, like one thing about teaching is it's a profession where you have to consistently or constantly self-reflect. If you're not self-reflecting in anything, whether it's your lessons, whether it's an interaction with the student, maybe it's how your teacher, like philosophy, have you been following it for the week? You are constantly self-reflecting. And if you're a person that doesn't self-reflect, I think then it's going to be challenging for you for sure in this profession.
Absolutely. But that's just what I think, man. Like, we need people that administration leaders that can communicate, that actually have experience, that
Mhm.
can, like, let's say you have an issue with how you're running something in your classroom, that could be like, oh, you know what? Here, this is what you can do instead. Or
Yeah.
like that has gone through things so that they can instruct you and lead you to the right person. Like maybe they haven't had the
Yeah.
experience, but they know who to guide you to or what PD to
Mhm.
send you to enhance your
Mhm.
pedagogy. It
Yeah,
shouldn't just be like a free for all, like go figure it out yourself. That's
exactly.
unsupportive.
100%. You need a leader who knows how to instill community, like a healthy community in your school for sure. Because if your leader is not building a community, then the school community is sinking. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
You wonder why teachers are leaving and without a
Mhm.
job, because I'm not the only one that left without anything. Like other teachers are leave, like about three of them left, didn't have anything lined up.
But I'm not gonna lie to you because again, even as like of course, like I just been teaching for 2.5 years. Like if I wasn't as like selfless or a person of like this job is bigger than me, or if this wasn't my calling, then I can see I would have left myself because it's just because of the things that you go through. Like, you get beaten down so much or you're exposed to a lot of negative energy and you just feel like you can't make change. You know what I mean? Like you start to doubt yourself. But then thank God I'm a person of like I believe in change can be made. So I don't let those thoughts consume me because as long as I'm giving 100% myself, even it doesn't matter what school community that I am in, as long as I'm dedicated to those students and those students first, then that's all that matters to me. But that
Mm.
also takes a lot because just like I was talking about in the last episode, I'm a person who says yes, 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 yes. Like I like to overcompensate when I see students from other classes and their teachers. Like even last year, a lot of teachers weren't throwing like classroom parties for the last day of school. I had like four different classes in my room. I've ordered like
Wow.
pizza, ice cream, you name it. Like all these kids poured into my room. I had like 60 students in my room at one point. And then in the last day of school, all those kids that came into my room, that party, literally all came to me handwritten cards and all these gift cards. And I don't even care about the gifts, just the handwritten cards and things that they said. It was just thank you for being so kind to us and just giving us space. Like it was always about like allowing kids space or just seeing us and just being a kind teacher. And
Wow.
you
Sorry,
know,
that's so beautiful.
yeah, like I feel like it's bigger. Sometimes like
Ah,
you just have to be a giving person in this profession because
me
this
too.
profession it will break you. It will break you. There's days you just feel defeated and you just have to get back up. And you just have to do it for those students. That's just what matters. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I have to remind myself, why am I in this profession? And consistently, because they're gonna break you. Just like how your school community is trying to break you and break you and break you and run you out. But you have to always be like, oh, like, and just have to put yourself aside just to finish off the year, even with your students,
Yes.
that's what matters at the end of the day. So that's what like people don't understand, but that's just what comes with the job. Even yesterday, we went to a staff outing, and like whenever my co-teacher told me and my friend Alina, because we're even newer teachers in there, she was like, thank you for bringing light into a school that has been dark since COVID, because things changed and people don't like to talk about it. But the pandemic changed a
A
lot.
lot.
A lot of people had this awakening. It was either for the goodness or was either like I'm over life or I just want to get to retirement and I just like I'm done. Like you just become desensitized, you just become
Yes.
unplugged from like why you're even here. You know what I mean? It just became a job for some people. So I told myself I graduated, I started my career in the pandemic. So I don't have that luxury. So it's just like it wakes me up because I go so hard for my students because I don't want them to feel like just because these experienced teachers don't like change or they're just like this right now. I don't want them to feel like people don't care about their school.
Mm.
At the end of the day, you're never going to do grade 6 again. You're never going to do grade 7 again. You're never going to do grade 8 again. So I like to create as much as I can these experiences and for all these students where they can just thrive and just make connections. And that was the whole reason why I even did the play, and all
Mm.
these notes that I got from students who were in the play. Like I didn't teach a lot of students, but they were in the play consistently. And they gave me all these cards, just thanking me for creating the space for them and just like allowing them to have this play at the school. So it's bigger than us. It's
Oh,
bigger than us.
yeah, wow. I first of all, I want to thank you for your vulnerability. That probably wasn't that easy to share. So I want to thank you for
Right.
that.
No
That's
problem.
awesome.
I feel like
Yeah,
we have to be
we
vulnerable
have
because
to be
I feel like
honest.
if we're not going to be honest, then we're just lying to people or we're just lying to ourselves. And I don't think people should be ever suffering by themselves because then it's not good for your mental health. I feel
Mm-mm.
like that's the whole point. You have to build or be around safe people or just community that like we all understand what you're going through because we're all kind of going through the same
Same
thing.
thing.
We see it. People don't like to voice it. But I'm a person, I like to talk about it. Like I don't like to keep it real. And I told you, I don't keep 100%. I'm keep it God,
Yeah.
So it's the truth. Like this system will break you. Like
Yeah.
I came into this field where all teachers were panicking and I had nobody to guide me. Like I was given a blank. I remember my first LTO, I was given a schedule. I was so overwhelmed and there was nobody that I could talk to. I had this one friend that I met on Clubhouse. Her name was Aya, and she's my friend with me right now in my school. That I told her, come to my school. She has helped me so much. Like I never even knew there's a community on Facebook because I didn't have Facebook. She told me there's a whole community on Facebook where people are just like upload Google Drives, and like there's just a bunch of teachers that
Wow.
share their like from different parts of Ontario that just willingly share all their resources, and like these are things that we don't know, and how would you know? You know what I mean? If I didn't have I would have not
Mm.
known. You know, I would have been struggling. So it's so needed to teach, like to reach out to new teachers and show them love and be like, hey, like I got you. Like I know, like all teachers can tell you we've all been there our first year. That's why they say the first couple of years are the hardest
Yeah.
because you just feel like you don't know. Like you graduate, you're not giving resources in teachers college. They just give you all these like philosophical ways of thinking and these pedagogies, but nobody gives you things to use, like actual materials and lessons and unit plans, you know? It's just expected for you to just know everything, you know, like even
Yep.
IEPs. They don't teach you how to write IEPs in school. You know that, right?
Mhm.
I learned at the job. I had to ask another teacher, like, hey,
Yes.
sit with me, you know, even report cards, like, hey, can you sit with me? How do I upload this? Like, these are things you just have to like, you have to reach out, you know? So it was hard for me during the pandemic because no, like they were already overwhelmed. So I was by myself. So I told myself if I ever get to a point, like, and then that's when I came to the school that I'm at, that's why my co-teacher, when I first met her, she gave me everything. She literally both
Mm.
sent me all their Google Drives, and I'm forever thankful for that. So as I said, like I'm here to help anybody because that is what I was given, and I would have to repay it back. That'd be selfish of me if I did it, you know?
Girl, that was amazing. Yeah,
Mm,
I totally agree with that. My first year has been it's been a little bit for my first year. Um, but having a supportive community is definitely needed.
yeah, it is needed because being alone is hard. Like it's hard, like mentally it's hard because I remember even my LTO, my first LTO, it was so hard for me. I was in a room by myself. No, but like the school was K-8. A lot of people didn't even know that I was there because my classroom is virtual. So I only taught like from a computer. So I was just in this room with just a bunch of empty desks and just like it was like a storage room and at one point, you know, I tried to make it my own. So it was just crazy. And then like I didn't feel a sense of community in that school that I was at. Like as much as I tried, like with my students. I created that sense of community with them, and I forever will cherish that because they're the first batch that I got. But that school, like, it wasn't for that. Like, I didn't feel
Mhm.
that sense of community like I feel at this school. So being alone, I know how that feels. Like, I was told 3 days before Thanksgiving, hey, due to reorganization, you lost your position. Literally 3 days before, and I remember just like breaking down, cry. I had nobody to talk to. Like, I was just like
What?
in silence. Yeah, literally, I was just like, what? And apparently, that's like that's I should have been told 5 business days before, but that too, I don't know the laws and
You don't
regulations.
know.
I don't. If you don't know, you
You don't
just
know. You don't
I
know.
didn't even know what reorganization was until it happened to me, and I'm just like sitting there like boo boo. I'm like, damn. And then I
Not
remember
boo boo the fool.
no, I was just like, what? Like key to
Uh-huh.
me 245. Yeah, sorry, but if there's another one available, I'll let you know. Why would I want to work in the school community that just did that to me? You know what I mean? So that's when I had to leave because I was like, I'm not coming back to the school because if you just treat me like a number, you're gonna do it again and again and again and
Again and
again.
again and again.
And that's one thing I'm not trying to feel like a number, you know, even though
Exactly.
you can't, sometimes they
I
make
know
us
you
feel like
are.
that, but I don't want to, I don't want a principal to make me feel like that.
I
You
know
know,
what you mean.
like you want somebody to know that like that cares for you and wants the best interest for you. You know, like if they
Mhm.
knew about reorganization for a month, so a month these people knew about reorganization. So all the staff around me, they knew that this was coming. I didn't. I'm a new
Mhm.
teacher. So they were just like not nobody wanted to communicate with me. Like it's just crazy, you know? So just that experience is what taught me, okay, I never want to work in a school community where and I like the leader is not leading with my best interest or my students' best interest. Because my students wrote a petition. They sent it to the principal. They even sent it to my current principal at the school because that's the school that I came to after. I
Right.
follow my students here, when I was applying. But they wrote petition. They're like TDSP is wrong. Why are they doing this to me? Like the petition, like I was crying. Like they were the sweetest kids. Like I was
They are the best advocates.
honestly, they are like, and the worst part is I like, you know, when you're like, I'm gonna be there with you because I was like, I'm gonna stick it out with you guys, but like it's not even my fault, you know?
It's not.
It's out of my control. So that was is what again broke me because they had a rough last year because they were online and they had four different teachers and it was very rough for them. So I was like, don't worry, I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna even if it's hard for me, I'm gonna ride for you guys. I remember 5, 6 hours. My husband told me, come here. And it was a long drive because he's in downtown. I live in Mississauga, so it's like 45-minute drive,
Mhm.
an hour depending on traffic. But I was going to work every day for them. I'll come home, study for 4 or 5 hours, like planning my day, and I was teaching grade 7 and 8 gifted, but split class. And I'm teaching all subjects except for French and music. So that's a lot. So split history, split geography, split science. Those were all split, right?
Wow.
The curriculum is different. And then English and math. So it was a lot on me. And I was
Mhm.
teaching gym online and health. And visual arts and drama. Like, you know what I mean? So there was a lot on my plate, but I think things happen for a reason too. So
Everything happens for a
that
reason.
happened for me to come to this school that I'm at currently and I'm here. So I'm happy that I found like I'm happy in a way that that happened.
Man, God is so good, man.
God is so good, man.
God is really good.
Mm.
I have a similar experience. Well, in
It's
not
weird.
that I've left, but
Mm.
as we know, I talked about it. My principal basically. So long story short, because we're running out of time. Um, my principal came to observe me in a classroom twice. So he came one time with my co-teacher in algebra, then he came another time with my co-teacher in English. He brought me into a meeting and he said, well, hey, how are you doing? I said, I'm good. And then he was like, okay, yeah, so I walked into your classroom and I didn't like what I saw. And I was like, okay, usually when you get observations, you're told exactly like what you did, literally word for word what you say, and then, feedback on that. There was nothing like that. He had nothing written on a paper, you know? And so ended up beginning to stand up for myself. After
Mhm.
that moment, he started coming against me very hard, right? Like, I went on jury duty for a month, which I realized was God's protection for me, because he would have harassed me the whole month, he ended up a situation happened at my school where a teacher was changing the grades that I was grading to another grade to a zero for the kid. And I was grading them, regular. She was changing those grades to zeros. I ended up getting written up for that because she never communicated with me about how she was changing the grade, never said anything to me. So the parent was confused on, why is their kid getting zeros? Anyways, he writes me up for that, ends up ripping up the letter. It was just such it's a very long story, but I've said this all to say that school environment is so important, and how you treat your teachers really does matter. So I want to go back to what you said about it being a calling and that's why you stay. I came into it and teaching definitely was a calling for me as well. Like I felt like God was brought me here. I'd never wanted to do this in the first place.
Mhm.
But when I assessed, but I did say that I would only be here for 5 years. I said that. It's crazy. I said that when I started. I was like, you know what? 5 years. That's all I'm gonna do. And I would never in my life think that my fifth year would end like this at
Mhm.
all. Like I would never in my life think that. So anyways, as sorry, I got a little distracted. As I, am going throughout this journey, you start to realize like why things pan out the way that they actually do. And so it's just been a journey for me. So yeah, anyways, I did decide to leave that school. I still do believe that I'm supposed to work with youth and to kids and even instructing like teachers on how to do things that I've been able to do, but I don't believe like working in a systematic system that I work in is something that is where my next season of life is going.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but honestly, like sometimes change is needed, right? And the fact is that you still are dedicated. You still are dedicated to your calling because you still want to work with youth, right? You still want the betterment for them in the future. So don't think of it as like you're ditching or like you're just
Mm-hmm.
coming out, but you're actually doing more important work, you know?
Yeah, on a different level.
You're a different
Yeah, on a
level.
different level work.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Beautiful.
yeah, hard transitions, but it happens. All right, girl, let's get into our, what is it, advice?
Yes. So
Okay.
I advise, again, my advice to teachers all over the world is to just be empathetic to the students that you're teaching. See them, get to learn them for who they are and what they bring into your classroom community, right? And reflect it back and let your curriculum and your lessons be the windows and the mirrors to all the students that come across the
Hmm.
classroom.
I agree with that. My advice is that I know that we all have our days. We all have our bad like days where
Mhm.
we not may not be feeling the best. My
Yeah.
advice is to let your students know how you're feeling. For
Mhm.
example, one day I went into my classroom and I was like, "How's everybody feeling on a scale of 1 to 10?" They were like 3, 4, 1, 0. I was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of at a 3 right now too." And they were all like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, so how about we do this? And I just like laid out the agenda, what we are gonna do today. And I said, at the end, once you finish, we're gonna upload it here. We can listen to some music, and we'll be
Mhm.
okay. You guys can talk to each
Yeah.
other as well. And they were like, okay. Literally, they didn't give me one problem. It
Mhm.
goes back to what we were talking about communication, like letting them know. You don't have just project on them. You let them know
Mhm.
how you are doing. And it has, and of course, I'm not saying it has to be every day, right? But you
Yeah.
have those moments where you're like, okay, this is how I am. This is where I'm at right now. Because
Yeah.
sometimes our students don't humanize us.
Yeah.
They don't humanize us.
That is so true, Tasia. Like I literally humanize myself so much in front of them.
Yes,
Like I make mistakes and they're like, oh, I said, guys, I'm human. Teachers make mistakes too. Like
yes.
just like on Thursday, one of our students did like a end of the school year presentation for our homeroom class, and they were like just to show appreciation. He taught us something. I forgot the word was called, but like it was a cool app where like we would write our letters and we kind of reflect to say our last name. So cool. So I was like, look. You taught me something new. I never even knew about this, right? So teachers are learners too. So it goes both ways. And I feel like students love that. Like when they can see
Yes.
themselves in you and you talk to them and you literally just have normal conversations. Even in one of my notes, like my student wrote that they appreciated our random conversations that we had throughout the classroom, just like getting to know people, like just like, hey, how are you? What are your plans? How have you been? Checking in, the next time. How did your fashion show go? Or how
Yes.
did your wrestling tournament go? Oh, are you excited for camp? I remember you're going to kayaking camp and horse camp, These conversations are so
So
important.
needed.
The students see that you remember and you make an effort, they're like, oh, you really care. Like I remember
Yeah.
saying something, Miss, how do you remember? My parents don't even remember that. I said, because I truly care. Like I'm attentive
Right.
listening all the time. That's why like my brain is always drained by the end of the day because I'm like retaining so much information, and it's valuable information that I,
Hmm.
so that is so true.
Yeah, they don't humanize us. I realized
Mhm.
that just now actually because
Mhm.
the last day of school, one of my kids was like, when I was like 7, I thought that teacher slept in the school. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
I thought the
no.
same thing too. When I
Exactly.
say to your mother, you go to the grocery shop too?
Right.
I get
Yes.
it.
So I think it's important that we allow them to know that we're not robots. We are humans just like them that grew up with very similar experiences. But,
Exactly.
and that we are here now to serve them. We're not robots. That's why they
Mhm.
think that as soon as they submit something, it's gonna be graded the next day. Like
Right.
sometimes, like
They're not AI intelligence.
AI. You can't blame them because that's the world they grew up
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the world they
Right.
grew up in. So they're used to like that instant
They
gratification.
are. They are.
So,
Yeah, but it's cool. I like even just the end, like we had a school dance and I'm here dancing with my students, hyping them up, and they're like, they actually kept coming because they're like, whoa, like you're so fun. I'm like, yeah,
right.
I like music, I like dancing, I like everything just like you guys. Just because I'm a
Yes,
teacher doesn't mean that I don't listen to music and I don't dance. Like, come on. They're
exactly.
like, I'm gonna come and rap and I was like, yeah, I'm running with you. Like it was crazy. So it's like just the little things. Like they'll never forget.
Yes.
'Cause I remember some of my teachers were like that too. I was like, "Oh, you're so cool," and I still remember that. So I'm
Mhm.
happy. Like I get to create core memories with my students, and
Absolutely. And the last note too is that a school community has so much power if it's used
mm-hmm.
like used in a graceful and
Mm-hmm.
effective way. It
Yeah.
can literally change the scope of a community. And I don't think people
Yeah.
see like how just one school and one community
Mm-hmm.
can literally change the face of that whole neighborhood.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Mm, I love that.
Yeah. You want to say your
Incredible.
think ready for quote time?
Time. All right. So my quote is only fitting, and it's by Carl Buchner. And the quote says, "They may forget what you said, but they will not forget how you made them feel."
Mm.
And that part, because all the students yesterday were crying, and I was just like giving them hugs. They're like, "Miss, thank you for just making me feel so amazing. Thank you for everything and curating all the stuff beyond the classroom, your lessons, everything, like just being there for us." And I love that because I make all my students feel like they're superheroes and they matter in this world and they are bigger than this world. So as long as I can do that, that is all that matters. And I feel like all teachers or any person in any position that you are in should make people feel that they matter.
Absolutely. Like you should make somebody feel like they're the most important person in the room.
100%.
Absolutely. My quote is the best revenge is to have the audacity to give yourself what someone else wouldn't. So if you're a teacher that decided to actually leave like me and are looking to do something different with your life, it's okay because now you're choosing to give yourself your own income. You're choosing to give yourself your own peace of mind. You're choosing to
Mhm.
give yourself your own time, your own grace and
Yeah.
understanding that that is okay.
Mhm.
We don't have to consistently wait on somebody else to give us handouts or give them their leftovers.
Not at all.
Like, no,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
100%. And on that part, like even as a new teacher, and if you feel like, hey, I want to do something, like maybe you want to start a club or maybe you want to run the sport, go for it. Because 9 times out of 10, we're all winging it. Look at
Yeah,
me. I'm not a drama teacher. I'm not a music teacher. I don't know how to sing. I did 2 play productions, literally by myself. So
let's
you
go.
can do anything. Don't
You
let
can do
people around
anything.
you make you feel like you can't or you can't start the initiative. So you just have to take initiatives, one of the learning skills. So as educators, you also have to do the learning skills that we give our students. So take initiatives.
Yep. Don't let nobody limit you. Only person that can limit you is yourself. People will have
Yep.
their opinions, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how they are, their opinions.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. This is an awesome episode again. I feel like they get better and
They
better,
get
to be honest.
better and better and better and better. And I'm just so happy we're in summer vacation now, officially. You get to recharge. Do you have any plans for summer? What are your plans?
Well, Monday I'm going to Mexico.
Woo!
Yeah.
Catch some
Yes.
tan, some
I'm
sun.
excited.
I love that for you.
Yeah, I'm excited going with one of my friends.
Yes. And you know what she's celebrating? Happy belated birthday. What to our queen?
Yes.
Yes.
And happy belated birthday to you, Zara,
Thank
because
you. We
happy,
did
happy
that.
belated
June
birthday.
babies are the best.
What'd you
Sorry,
say?
sorry. Said June babies are the best.
What?
Sorry, not sorry. Said June babies are the best.
Oh, they are the best. Okay.
Sorry.
People,
Yeah,
that we are just the best.
that's
The
it.
best. Okay. End of the month, June babies to be
Yeah,
specific.
exactly. Love it. Love it.
Yes, so we both did have birthdays. So if you want to leave us a late belated birthday post, I mean you can because both of our posts are on the page. At them 90s teachers if you don't follow us already.
What are
Um
you doing?
I don't understand.
I
I'm sure you follow Zara, okay? If you're
yes,
not, if
you
you're following
do.
Zara,
You
you
should
should be
follow
following them
all of them.
90s teachers.
Exactly.
Yes. But if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Tay Janae, TayJenay, where I help educators maximize their skills so that they can make more income and make more impact on the world. All right.
Yes.
So
Incredible page, by the
thank you.
way. If you're not
Thank you.
following Deja, what are you doing, Shirley?
What are you doing? Follow me. I have a challenge. It's free for 7 days. DM me and I will let you guys know the details.
We love that. We love that.
Yes.
Awesome. I can't believe it. This is our last June, and then we're in July now. So more content is gonna come your way. And we can't wait to create more podcast episodes. And please DM us if you have any topics you'd like us to talk about in the future, or you have any questions, let us know. And we will incorporate it in our future episodes.
Yes, and the content on the page will get more consistent since we are out of school, so you will be seeing
Yes,
more previews much more frequently.
it's gonna be lit, as my students would say.
But guys, have a great day, night, afternoon. We'll
Yeah,
see you.
enjoy, and please plug in some self care where you can today. Take care of yourselves.
Yes, take care of yourselves. You sounded like one of those radio.
That's what I was channeling.
You did it. Mission accomplished. All right, guys. Bye.